Good day to all my friends who love to talk about the things that they love. This is a new series called The Uncritical Reviewer. It's a series where I look at all things media, books, movies, television shows, etc. And I break down everything that's great about them. And don't worry, if you haven't read or watched what I'm discussing, I'm going to spend the first half of the video going over a spoiler-free talking points and who I would recommend each thing that I'm discussing in that video to. So basically, if you want your opinions validated on things you love, you're in the right place. Here, everything's great. And if I'm talking about it, you just assume it's perfect. My name's Jacob, I write books, and I love all things story in all forms. Today, we're going to be discussing Fonda Lee's Greenbone Saga. The Greenbone Saga is a trilogy of fantasy books set in the capital city of Janloon on an island called Kaikon. Kaikon is the only place in the world where the magical substance, jade, can be found. Jade, in this world, gives superhuman powers to those who spend years of their lives training with it. I'm talking about super strength, super speed, Star Wars force pushes, and a ton more. Basically, this green little rock makes all of these characters into superheroes. Those who use jade are called Greenbones, and Kaikon's entire society rests on the shoulders of these warriors. These books follow the Call family of the No Peak clan. The Call family runs a prominent clan in the city of Janloon, navigating how to use their jade abilities for the good of Kaikon, themselves, and how they can defeat the enemy clan. This trilogy of books starts with Jade City, and from the beginning, Fonda Lee does an extraordinary level of world building, bringing familiarity to a fantastical world. Before I gush any further, who should read this series? I'd recommend this series to anyone who loves fantasy, mafia dramas, martial art duels, or, family therapy sessions that start and end with a sword fight. Now this is the spoiler part. Pause it if you haven't read. Go read 1,800 pages, then come back. I'm going to wait. I'm going to talk about the whole trilogy now, baby. Now let's talk about Jade City. Hot damn do I think this book is good. From the beginning, we are introduced to Barrow, the sneaky little gremlin character who keeps meddling with the Call family and the No Peak clan. And from the beginning, you think he's this goofy, one-off character that just kind of introduces the book into this very high-stakes world. No. Fonda Lee makes character story throughout the entire trilogy. So from the very first page all the way through the third book, we get Barrow. And the entire time, he is a pain in their ass. Again, this is an uncritical review. If you want critical feedback, you're in the wrong place. I love a lot about these books, and that's what we're here to talk about today. The entire trilogy is at its best are the characters and the dynamics and relationships between them. Each person, especially our main characters, Elo, Shay, and Lan, feel so real and alive. They jump off the page. Elo, Shay, and Lan give us such a great sibling dynamic that you almost feel like you're part of the family. Like when Elo does something dumb, you want to reach through the pages and do a Homer Simpson, Speaking of their decisions, a lot of them are very surprising, but not in a way that twists the readers into being like, oh wow, I bet you didn't see that coming. If you sit back and think about them, it makes logical sense why those characters made those decisions. And the best I can liken it to is George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. The characters, the dynamics, the relationships all work for me on every single level in the Greenbone Saga. Then, we have to talk about how amazing the twist is in Jade City. My jaw was literally on the floor when I read the pages when Barrow, of all people,
now this is the spoiler part,
killed Lan, who you think is the main character of the series. He's really set up to be your main protagonist. So you're telling me this insignificant goblin from the beginning of this book hurt a character I love? Ruthless. Fonda Lee in this moment is telling us that no one is safe. She's kind of evil for this, but in the best way possible. This decision thrust Elo and Shay as the protagonist, who at this point in Jade City are kind of the most unhinged, defeated people in the book so far. Whew. I love it, and I bet you do too if you made it this far into the video. Remember, we talk about the things we love, not the things that we hate. So now that we kind of talked about Jade City, we're going to talk about Jade War, the sequel. Jade War adds to the already incredible foundation Lee laid in Jade City, but primarily makes Andon and Wen lead characters along with Elo and Shay. At the end of Jade City, Andon is a lost young man and is scared of his own powers. And the way he comes back to identifying himself and regaining his confidence is through community in a foreign nation. It's so satisfying as a reader. Andon's struggles mirror that of any recent college grad who goes through school at the top of their class, and when they get to their first job outside of grad school, they realize they actually don't know anything, and that their 45-year-old coworker who's been doing the job for 20 years knows so much more than them, and they have a lot to learn. We continue getting masterclass levels of world building, decision making, and politics from Elo and Shay as they navigate their status as the underdog clan against the Mountain. Finally, in Jade War, Lee gives Wen the spotlight, which I was kind of side-eyeing the whole time because Wen is my personal favorite character, especially in this book. A part of me was happy when she was on the sidelines. It meant she was relatively safe, but against mine and Elo's wishes, Wen becomes a spy, putting herself in grave danger. This sets up a fantastic, climactic, nail-biting finale where Wen and Andon are fighting for their lives, and the stakes feel so genuine because you know Lee isn't afraid of killing off her favorite characters. You don't see many fantasy novels not pull their punches like this. It's actually quite incredible to read and experience as a journey. Finally, we're going to get through Jade Legacy. Somehow, Lee tops herself and writes a truly breathtaking, satisfying conclusion to the entire Greenbone saga. I'm sure anyone who's read it can agree. But the journey you go on as you follow these characters through a majority of their life is beautiful, it's heartbreaking, and it's genuinely inspiring. Jade Legacy covers decades of time, and we see these characters grow up and grow into their roles, and it's like nothing I've ever really read before. It doesn't follow a standard story structure, so if you've read Save the Cat, I couldn't really apply the skeleton of the plot structure that book outlines to this book, but it still works as a narrative. In Jade Legacy, it almost feels like we're watching a highlight reel of all of our characters' POVs at important parts of their lives, and at first you're kind of like, does this work? All of these stories kind of come together in a generational way. It's just incredible to see the payoff that you don't really get with a novel, like really at all, because I've never personally read a novel where we spend generational amount of time with these characters. So you really get to see lifelong payoffs from Jade City all the way through Jade Legacy. And like the name Jade Legacy suggests, I really believe Fonda Lee's Greenbone Saga has set a legacy for herself as an incredible author, a writer, and as a storyteller. Alright, that's all I have for glazing up the Greenbone Saga. Drop a comment telling me what you loved most about the series, and don't worry, we're uncritical here. There are no wrong answers. Well, unless you didn't like it, then you're wrong. Bye.